Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. The Blackhawks fall 3-2 to the Minnesota Wild in the penultimate preseason game of the season. You like that word? Pulled that out because I learned it from Justin Lynch on Chicago Hockey Radio last year. Blackhawks lose 3-2 against the Wild. This was a more stacked NHL lineup for the Minnesota Wild than the last time we played them a few days ago. Pretty much all their studs out there. I was at the game again today. I was boots on ground, BOG, boots on ground, and I was looking at the guys out on the ice during the national anthem, and I was there with some friends. Shout out to Sid and Lo if they're watching. Shout out to you guys. I said to them during the anthem, we're going to get fucking killed. I was just looking down on the ice in the 100 level, just seeing Kaprizov, Boldy, Faber, Rossi. I was like, oh, dude, like this is going to be a tough one. But the Blackhawks started well. The Blackhawks started really well. It was the two goals they scored both came in the first 10 minutes of the game. Left us wanting more after that. But my last post game that I did, I got some comments about being drunk at the game, and that was not true. I was not talking out of my ass. I was not drunk for that last post game. However, for this post game, I am. I have been drinking for several hours, and I was drinking at the game. So not going to be super in-depth on this one, and I just wanted to let you guys know that early before we get into anything, just so that anything I say, you have that in the back of your mind. Okay, he's been drinking. Let's give him a break here. I want to talk about our second line. And yes, I'm going to say our, because I am a three-time Stanley Cup champion. As a Chicago Blackhawk diehard, I've been following this team since I was basically born. This is my team. This is us. Our second line. When I say our second line, I'm referring to Frank Nazar, Teuvo Teravainen, and Tyler Bertuzzi. Jeff Blashill had that line start the game tonight. That was not the second line. That was the first line tonight. They played the most minutes. That might be, and I said it in the last post-game video, or no. I said that in the, which video did I say? One of my last three videos, I talked about how that second line is going to be relied upon heavily this year by the Blackhawks, just because it's going to be the most solid line. They're going to play the most together. It's going to be the most consistent line. I think they're going to be the most productive line. I just think they complement each other very well. They have several. They finished the final quarter of the season last year playing together, so they have the most chemistry. And you saw it tonight. They were up against that top Minnesota line of Rossi, Boldy, and Kaprizov all night, and that was. They played well. They scored a goal. That Frank Nazar goal was sweet. He was literally picking his glove fell off his hand. I don't know if it was on the broadcast, but obviously being at the game, he lost his glove and picked it up, and then the Hawks won the puck, and then in transition he was skating with his glove on the ground and picked it up. Sorry, and by the way, if I'm looking up, it's because I'm drunk and easily distracted, and I have the Penn State Arizona State game on, watching Gavin McKenna make his NCAA debut. That kid's pretty good. Blackhawks might get him, eh? No, we're not doing Gavin McKenna talk whatsoever right now. We're not doing Gavin McKenna talk. But look, I think that second line might end up being the first line. I would not be surprised if we see that on a lot of nights this year where that second line is getting the matchup of the other team's top line, just because they're reliable. I really do feel like they're more solid defensively than whoever Bedard and Donato are going to be playing with. Also, when I was at the game on Tuesday, Justin Lynch brought up a fantastic point, which I don't know if he's since said on Chicago Hockey Radio or not, but I'm going to bring it up now. Is there a chance we see Frank Nazar be the most productive Blackhawk this year? It's possible. It's possible. Look, I think Bedard's going to have a jump. I think Bedard is going to be close to a point per game pace. But the more I watch Frank Nazar, the more he just reaffirms everything that I've been saying about him. I mean, I was watching like 10 games into his NHL career last year on Chicago Hockey Radio. I was saying this kid was going to be a superstar, and I stand by that. I just, every time I see him play, he's just evolving. Every game it feels like he's getting better. And he's just so good everywhere, and he can absolutely fly. Showed it again tonight, was really solid tonight. Had a couple feeds to Bedard on the power play too that I wish they could have cashed in on. But again, the power play not finding anything. The penalty kill tonight got toast in especially in that second period. They give up three goals on the Wild power plays, and they didn't have an answer for it, and that's absolutely what killed them. But it's a preseason game. They battled. This was a really good Minnesota Wild team. If you've watched any of my other videos, I'm high on the Minnesota Wild. In my early playoff kind of prediction video, I said that I will be betting money on the Minnesota Wild. I already have money on Kirill Kaprizov to win the Hart Trophy this year, the MVP trophy. I bet that before the contract issue got settled, before he signed that $17 million AAV, how you doing, big boy price tag. I bet on him to win the MVP before that, and I stand by it even more so now. I think this Wild team is, especially on the top end, very talented. I think Matt Boldy, that was the first time I've seen Matt Boldy in person. What a player, man. I think he's so special. As a USA Hockey fan, I am a big fan of his. I just think he does every little thing so well. And he can also skate really well, and he's got really, really high offensive upside. So, look, it was a stacked Minnesota lineup tonight, and I thought the Blackhawks played well. This isn't going to be doom and gloom like, oh, you blew a 2-0 lead. Man, this Wild team's fucking good, man. And being there, you saw it. They turned it on. They started, that game got physical. It got chippy, which I loved seeing that fight from the Blackhawks. Connor Murphy laying a couple of really big hits, which I love to see. He needs to be doing that this year. Colton Dach had a couple of big hits too. So Colton Dach, I'm happy he had the preseason he did. I really am. I'm happy that he is going to be on this Blackhawks lineup from day one. I'm excited to see kind of what he can do this year. I want them to use him a little more than they do. What was his time on ice tonight? 10 minutes and 53 seconds. More than a couple of Slaggert only played 9 minutes. Lafferty played just over 6, which I'm happy with. I'm okay with Sam Lafferty not playing a ton of minutes. I'm excited. I love what Colton Dach brings. This team is, especially up front on the offensive side, it's especially all these young guys. Let's be honest, they're small, speedy, skilled guys. This team, this lineup, this organization is going to need guys like Colton Dach going forward. Like, if you're going to win, you need nail guns. You absolutely do. You need guys that are physical, that are going to play heavy, that are going to play hard, that aren't afraid to mix it up. And Colton Dach is all of those things. So I'm excited to see what Colton Dach can do and bring this year. I do want to talk about Minnesota a little bit. I think they're going to make the playoffs. I think they have so much talent. I think that second line is a little bit of an issue. Zook is injured, and he's going to be injured for, I think, the first couple months of the season. So that might be tough for them. They're going to need depth scoring, but wow, is that first line. Oh, man. Rossi, Kaprizov, Boldy. I mean, that is a first line right there. That is a bona fide first line. They might need help with depth scoring. We'll see, although the depth scorers scored today. Preseason doesn't matter. I still think that this Wild team is going to make the playoffs. I would imagine they're going to do something around the trade deadline as well to try to bolster that depth a little bit. But defensively, they're solid. They got good vets back there, Bogosian, Spurgeon, and then they've got young guys like Juracek and Buyum. And I got to say, I do have to say something about Zeev Buyum. He was impressive tonight. Watching him in person was, I mean, man, can that kid skate. It's crazy, and I may or may not have said a couple of times to my friends tonight, we could have drafted Zeev Buyum. I don't want to put that out there. I don't want to say that. I'm not going to push that narrative. This is the last time you'll hear me say something like that. But we could have drafted that Zeev Buyum. I think he's going to be a talent. I really do think that kid is going to be a talent, man. And we could have drafted him, but it's okay. It's okay. You know, I'm just going to zip it and honestly just start talking shit about him. He was sloppy tonight. He was ass. He wasn't impressive, actually, now that I think about it. Doesn't move me. Levshinov clears. Now that we have that out of the way. I don't really know what else to say. Defensively tonight, they were fine. Nolan Allen, to be honest with you, just didn't look like an NHLer, I don't think. Took a penalty. I guess he got a hockey assist tonight. But he was slipping around, felt like he was kind of out of position a few times. He had the shortest leash out of all these guys. He only played 15 minutes or just under 16 minutes. So he played the least amongst all defensemen. I think they're going to sign Matt Grzelcyk. I think Matt Grzelcyk is getting signed and is going to be that on that third pairing with Connor Murphy. I really do. I think it's going to be Rinzel and Vlasic on the first pair. It's going to be obviously Artem Levshinov and Wyatt Kaiser on the second pairing, and then it's going to be Connor Murphy and Matt Grzelcyk as the third pairing. And I'm seeing into my crystal ball. This is like Palantir shit. The aliens are coming down, and I am seeing Matt Grzelcyk getting signed, and me fucking raging in this very bedroom on this very channel about Matt Grzelcyk making mistakes this year. I just see it happening. I know it's going to happen. I've seen this movie before. Matt Grzelcyk's getting signed and is going to piss me the fuck off this year, but that's okay. It's okay. It's going to be a fun year. There's going to be a bunch of fun storylines to be watching. I don't need to get my you know what in a bunch over Matt Grzelcyk. I need to relax. I need to touch grass and get some fresh air and not get so hurt about Matt Grzelcyk getting signed and taking a spot away from young defensemen. It was a fun game to go to. Wish they would have come up with the win. Obviously, the final couple minutes, they pulled their goalie, had some really good looks, and and this was another thing I noticed, which I don't know why it just dawned on me tonight, but when the Blackhawks had their goalie pulled with 2.5 minutes, whatever it was, then Gustafsson made a save. There was, a stoppage of play with just a minute left. And at first, before the Blackhawks called their timeout, they rolled out their second unit, right? So all the studs got off the ice. Nazar, Teravainen, Rinzel, Bedard all got off the ice. And it was like, there's a minute left. And I'm watching with my own eyes. There's a minute left of a hockey game. You need a goal. And I'm watching Jason Dickinson and Ilya Mikheyev and Andrei Burakovsky and Colton Dock out there. And I was like, we're going to be ass. I was like, this is how thin we are, man. It's like after those first 5-6 guys, this is who we've got. This is who we've got out there when you need a goal with your net empty. This is who we've got out on the ice. And it kind of just hit me like a sack of bricks. And I'm like, we might have a shot at this kid playing for Penn State. We might have a shot at this Gavin McKenna fella. Brace yourselves, buckle in. It's going to be a fun year. It's going to be a fun time on this channel. So I hope you guys have enjoyed the content so far. Please hit the subscribe button if you haven't yet. Hit that notification bell. I'm going to start streaming these games, which will be so much fun. So please come hang out during the streams for the regular season games. follow me on social medias, follow my X and my Instagram so that you know, like I'll post on there if I'm going live or what I'm doing, whatnot. But I appreciate the love and support so far. If I bug you, if I irritate you, that means a lot to me. Thank you so much. Please leave a couple hate comments so that we can fight in my comment section. Thanks so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.